Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Saieed Ali, spiritual consultant and real estate businessman. Now remember, for those of you that are having spiritual problems, you can feel free to contact me, 339-1670. You can also call my office at 237-3135. Those of you that, if you tell yourself, you know, that you need a little counseling, your kids, the wife, the husband, feel free to contact me at 339-1670. Those of you that have properties to sell or looking for property to buy, you can also contact me, and you can also contact my office at 237-3135 from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. I want to say a special good night to you viewers of Real Talk in Trinidad and Tobago, of the Caribbean and around the globe. Tell your friends, tell your family, Real Talk is going live. Saieed Ali is on set. Viewers, it is a pleasure to come to you in your living room, your bedroom, on the phone. Remember, you can view us at Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. You could subscribe to us at YouTube, TT Real Talk. And remember, there's a rerun of this program every day, Monday to Friday, from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. I want to say a special good night to you again, viewers. And as we are about to start tonight, viewers, we are going to talk about the immigration officers. We are going to talk about Mr. Stuart Young. Immigration officers need protection from Venezuelans who were denied entry into the country, and to arrest anyone who intimidates the immigration officer. Now, this is what Mr. Stuart Young had to say, viewers.
Madam President, this is a matter that only came to my attention last week when I was on a visit to the port in Cedrus, and immigration officers there told me they had had a couple incidents with persons who were turned away, and it's not relatives on that instance of Venezuelans who were turned away, but rather persons of interest who came to collect them. We immediately discussed it with immigration, with the police there on post, and I'm currently working on a plan for the immigration officers at Cedrus. The first I heard about this incident was when the media reached out to me yesterday, and I only saw the message last night. Again, there's a suggestion that his relatives, we're not certain his relatives, but what we're certain of, they're Trinidadian nationals who have followed immigration officers after they've refused entry. I am going to be suggesting to the Commissioner of Police, especially at Piarco and other legal ports of entry where our immigration officers are, that we set up some sting operations, some undercover police operatives who would be following immigration officers and around in these areas. So if anyone is found intimidating any immigration officer, they will be charged with the full extent of the law and criminally charged at that.
Now, viewers, that is our Minister of National Security, Minister Stuart Young. Now, recently, this was arise because immigration officers have been threatened. They have been threatened by Venezuelans and even Trinidadians associating with Venezuelan individuals. So if they cannot come in, the individuals in Trinidad threatened the immigration officers. Some even had to call police officers for protection. This occurred yesterday in Trinidad. And, you know, it's sad to know, well, the immigration officers in Trinidad are being threatened. They're supposed to keep our ports, upheld the ports. They're supposed to make sure that your documents are legal before entering in Trinidad and Tobago. And individuals have taken it upon themselves to threaten these officers. And I would side with the Minister of National Security, Mr. Stuart Young. Once these individuals are apprehended, they will feel the full brunt of the law. Now listen this. Police officers are setting up sting operations in several ports throughout Trinidad and Tobago to make sure that no officers, immigration officers, are being threatened. Now it's sad to know this is how far it have reached. When I was saying secure our borders, make sure our ports are well secured, nobody was taking me on. Nobody. Now look where it reached. The individuals that work in the port, in the immigration system, they are being threatened. This is where it have reached now. So that is why when I come here and I say, hey, we need to do this and we need to do that, it's not by guess I am bringing it to you. It's not by guess. So there you've heard it from the Minister of National Security that our ports now, our immigration officers are being threatened because so-called Venezuelans are being denied. Wow, did Saieed talk about that? Yes, I did. And that is an issue that is plaguing the immigration system at the port of entries throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So just imagine that. It's sad, you know. It's sad. This is an issue. This is the lives of the individual who go to work on a daily basis, doing their job the correct way. And they are being threatened for doing their jobs. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saeed.
Go right,
good night.
Go right ahead, my dear.
Handsome as ever, as always, doing a good job. But what I'm saying...
Yes?
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, what they're supposed to do first, they're coming to do last, after they let all of them enter the country.
I spoke about this earlier this year. So you see how things is, caller?
No, because I'm going to tell you something. They just wait for when you light a fire and you have to out it. They just wait for it to flame up first and spread and then try to out it.
That time it's too late.
It's too late, but I nothing. God is the boss.
True, true.
Something will work out.
Thank you, my friend. Now, if you are switching from that a little bit, Trinidad, we're talking about Allison West here. Trinidad and Tobago unemployment rate of 4.8% is on par with the United States and the United Kingdom. The public service salary bill is the largest at $10 billion, following a 2014 negotiation of the contract. This government have been maintaining jobs in the public sector. Now, Ms. Allison West is saying she is actually comparing our unemployment rate with the United States and the United Kingdom. Now listen this. Trinidad and Tobago have a population of 1.3, 1.4 people. The United Kingdom have millions. The United States have millions. But you're comparing an unemployment rate with 1.4 million people against a couple million people. This is what you call a very smart individual. Very smart. I would say you're very smart. You're so smart that you're illiterate. Serious. Listen to what she had to say.
Madam President, let us consider what happened with unemployment during our earlier recession periods. In the period 1987 to 1991, we also had a recession. We had oil prices going from $27 US a barrel to half of that, of $13.53 a barrel. The unemployment rate at that time went to an all-time high of 20.4% in 1991. That is 20.4%, versus where we are currently of an unemployment rate of less than 5%. Let us look at this more globally, Madam President. How does our unemployment rate of less than 5%, and the figure I have, which reflects a 2017 figure, because the figure I have for 2018, which is lower, is still unconfirmed by the CSO, and therefore I will refrain from raising it. So let us use the figure that we have from 2017 of 4.8% and compare it with what is happening elsewhere in the world. The US, for example, Madam President, is said to be in a particularly buoyant period of its economy. Its unemployment rate in January of 2018 was 4.1%. The UK unemployment rate, 4.3%. The Indian unemployment rate, 3.6%, and the Canadian unemployment rate, 5.8%, which is higher than ours. So, Madam President, in countries that are generally acknowledged to be doing relatively well, that are not in recessions, their unemployment level as a percentage is not significantly different from ours. We have, despite the severe economic challenges which we faced from 2015, managed to maintain a fairly consistent and steady and reasonably low unemployment rate. Now, while I do acknowledge that any loss of job is something that is not something to be celebrated, I think we can acknowledge that the management of the economy, the management of the situation was well handled by the government to ensure that we maintained a reasonable level of unemployment.
Viewers, we do not have a recession. You cannot compare a small amount of figure with a large amount. Now, she said the government have been maintaining jobs in the public sector. What about maintaining jobs in the public domain? Because we are going for a short commercial break, but stay locked on. When we come back, you will hear what Wade Mark have to say.
Get your ad on the show that matters. Real Talk with Saieed Ali. It's engaging, entertaining, and straight to the point. Real Talk brings the issues of the day to the people. It's Real Talk with Saieed Ali. It's local, regional, and international. It's Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Get your ad now. Call 1-868-237-3135 or 1-868-339-1670.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Saieed Ali. Consultant and investor businessman.
Can't watch Real Talk on TV? Have no fear. You can also watch Real Talk on the go live on YouTube and Facebook at Real Talk with Saieed Ali on YouTube.com and TT Real Talk on Facebook.com. Don't forget to like us and share us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, you heard of Alison West concerning unemployment, and according to her, we are doing well. Now listen to what Wade Mark have to say concerning unemployment.
In the last 3 years, 20,000 persons experienced job losses between September 7, 2015 to December 2017 using CSO data. We ain't talking about 2018 yet, and we ain't talking about 2019 yet. And during this period, Madam President, we are told by the Prime Minister that they supervised and presided over the loss of some 20,000 jobs. Now, Madam President, these numbers do not include the shutdown of Petrotrin and the loss of 10,000 jobs. So we have to add that 10,000 to the 20,000. When they came to office, I asked how many contract workers were terminated between the 30th of September 2015 to the 30th of September 2030. No, the 30th of September 2017. And the information we got in writing, it is on the public record, is 2,176 contracts were not renewed under this government during that period. Those people went home. Madam President, in the Prime Minister's office alone, total between the same period, September 30th, 2015 to September 30th, 2017, 125 workers' contracts were terminated. 67 of them alone came from the office of the Prime Minister.
Now, viewers, those were individuals who went home under this present administration. According to Alison West, we are doing well, we are doing good, we do not have to worry. Now listen to what Wade Mark had to say again.
Madam President, I have not included, but I want to include now, the over 600 workers who lost their jobs at TSTT. Madam President.
So just imagine that. We do not have a recession. We are going good. But people are going home. People are going home. Now listen this again.
And may I also remind you, Madam President, some of the workers who visited the junk heap of history as a result of an insensitive, uncaring, and almost I would say uncaring and insensitive government. Madam President, 700 workers almost were sent home when ArcelorMittal closed down. 200 workers were terminated at Centrica. 200 workers, 11 rather workers, were sent home at Repsol. 900 workers were laid off at the OAS Constructora. RBC sent home hundreds of workers quietly. Digicel cut scores of members of their staff. The Tourism Development Company closed down. 200 workers, Madam President, were placed on the breadline. The Industrial Plant Services Limited, operating some 5 methanol plants at Point Lisas, sent home over 100 employees. The Caroni Green, Madam President, shut down. 100 workers gone home. Madam President, the government closed down the Human Resources Services Limited. Scores of workers were sent home. Madam President, the National Gas Company sent home over 20 workers. Madam President. Madam President, just recently, you would have read, like I did, the Minister of Education announcing that in the next few weeks, 244 workers of the UTT are to be retrenched and sent home, Madam President.
Now, viewers, you have heard it. You have heard it. So you tell me, you be the judge, the citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, are we stable concerning our jobs in Trinidad and Tobago? Are we, the citizen, secure of our jobs in Trinidad and Tobago? Caller, good night.
Hi, good night. What I want you to do is to replay what Young said concerning people who attack or interfere.
Caller, I could hardly hear you.
Our how you call it, officers, custom officers. But hear what the man say. He said they will be charged to the full extent of the law. I want to know if you could charge somebody to the full extent of the law. I know you could be prosecuted. So if you feel Alison West was a mimic, think about what Stuart Young said. Pay it over. You can't charge nobody to no full extent of no law. They will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I'm so sad that I have to correct our Minister of National Security who has a law degree.
Thank you, caller. Are our jobs safe? At present, can we go to the bank and take a loan to buy a house or further our education or to buy a new car? Can we actually do that? Can we say we are safe enough, we are secure in our jobs to actually go forward and get a loan? Can we say that? Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Saeed. How are you going?
All right, go right ahead.
Saeed, Alison West singing exactly how Coffee was sounding when he was sending home people in CNMG and had women who was pregnant and who had children and family to see about and was sending them home. They were crying, tears running down their eyes. But these people don't see it, that when you send somebody home, you're affecting a family, you're affecting a whole, you're affecting children, you're affecting somebody's whole life. They don't see it like that. That's typical slavery days mentality you're seeing demonstrated by these people. They, as soon as they get on top, they don't consider who down below. That's why you see that whole nation could never move forward. They're always fighting down one another. You're in a position where you supposed to try to bring up and uplift people.
True.
You just sending home people and talking about referring to people as unemployment rate. You know it is when a parent comes home and cannot provide food for a child that is hungry, books for a child that is want to get a good education, who have the potential, and that parent looking for means of trying to, because a child don't see poverty, a child don't feel that, you know, they look up at the parents as the knight in shining armor, as a protector, as a savior.
Yes.
That parents cannot show weakness and like pain in front of their children, knowing that you coming home without a salary and an income, and your children them asking you for food. What you would face after is crime.
Yes.
You understand? And these people speaking and referring to people as statistics, as a rate. You understand? Thousands and thousands of people unemployed under this government. And she talking about how they're managing the economy. You understand? Look what ended up happened to Coffee. Let me hope that don't happen to she. You understand? When Coffee was laughing and saying that how a contract is not a job, contract workers don't have a job. So when them contract done, they could just, they have to go home. They don't, that is not a permanent thing. You understand? So after 3 years you was in a contract, minding your children, minding your family, and then your contract end, and they just fire you and hire back who they think. Let me see what would happen to she. Let me hope that she don't end up in the same hospital like Coffee because of this statement. You see what Franklin can?
True,
you see
true.
that one went to fix his heart because he frightened. His time coming close also.
Yeah.
Because you know the omen that PNM have to face at 79, the Prime Minister. So he's frightened right now. He run to go and check out the heart to make sure nothing happen. But like I say, everything have its time. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, my friend. It's like a 69 spell. Now, viewers, switching from that a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit about the Paria Fuel Trading Company and the transparency. Now, Kamala Prasad Bisasa is saying to the government of Trinidad and Tobago to come clean. Let there be transparency to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago concerning the Paria Fuel Trading Company, whether it is up for sale, whether it is not for sale. Now listen this, viewers. Listen this, this will amaze you. Trinidad and Tobago oil export to the United States reached a notable significant figure in 7 years. In December last year, this is according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. In the last couple of years, viewers, we have exported the highest figure of oil to the U.S. in 7 years. In December 2018, we have delivered the highest figure in oil to the United States. The highest figure in 7 years. Now listen this. How can an oil company be running to a bus? How can they be running to a bus where they have to close down, where they are exporting the largest amount of oil? You tell me. You tell me. Now, between Franklin Khan and Mr. Wilfred, I want to know who is actually the minister or who is the owner of Paria Fuel Trading Company, because I understand that Wilfred is the chairman and he put it up for sale because it was not a profitable oil company. Following day, our minister came out and said, Minister Franklin Khan, Minister in Energy, he said it is not for sale. You come here, shut down the refinery. In December 2018, we export the largest amount of oil to the U.S. for the past 7 years. So you tell me, viewers, you tell me where is the transparency? You tell me why it is they shut down oil company that was making money. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night. My question is this, and any thinking person could ask themselves, who is next? What is next? What is there for your children? What future is there? This is why we have a brain drain, you know. And seeing that they started and they touched UTT, UE is next, okay? Now, for you to understand that a person of that degree that was working for Petrotrin and helping all the other civil services and whatever, what did the civil service contribute to anyone until recently when they started raising fares for, handicapped children, inclusive of Down syndrome children? What have they done? It's only now. So for infrastructure and for it to look good, we have to do like India and sleep on the pavement in the night. So we are the lower class people now. So we have to cut our body parts and sell it now for the higher ups to look good. Is this fair? Is this the people you want to serve you? Any fair thinking person would know that UE is next. Because when they cut down the gate, who is going to school? They're going to retrench.
Thank you, caller. Viewers, yeah, we are going for a short break, but stay locked on. This is Real Talk. This is Saieed Ali. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Saieed Ali. Consultant and real estate businessman.
Can't watch Real Talk on TV? Have no fear. You can also watch Real Talk on the go live on YouTube and Facebook at Real Talk with Saieed Ali on YouTube.com and TT Real Talk on Facebook.com. Don't forget to like us and share us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell. Get your ad on the show that matters. Real Talk with Saieed Ali. It's engaging, entertaining, and straight to the point. Real Talk brings the issues of the day to the people. It's Real Talk with Saieed Ali. It's local, regional, and international. It's Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Get your ad now. Call 1-868-237-3135 or 1-868-339-1670.
Welcome back to Real Talk, viewers. Now, viewers, we are going to our Minister of Sports and Affairs, Ms. Shamfa Kudjo. Listen this. Ms. Shamfa says, Tobagonians, you have to accept changes. You have to accept that Tobago have changed for the worse. This is what she's saying. You have to accept that Tobago have changed for the worst. Now, Tobagonians are saying they are blaming Trinidadians for the murder that took place in Tobago. This was Donald Parks, the businessman. Tobagonians are blaming us for the murder. Now listen this. Shamfa Kudjo is saying to the Tobagonians, you have to accept Tobago as it is. She's also saying that she's crying. Hey, these people just have me laughing, you know, serious. Being a minister, telling the Tobagonians, you have to accept Tobago as it is. We are going downhill. I think Shamfa Kudjo was once the Minister of Tourism. Correct, guys? Now listen. You, Ms. Shamfa, you have the authority, being a minister, to go to Mr. Stuart Young and tell Mr. Stuart Young that, listen, there are crimes taking place in Tobago. And I want you to beef up security or beef up patrols in Tobago. You as a minister have the ability to do that. Do not tell the Tobagonians that they have to accept Tobago at its worst point, that we are going downhill and there's nothing I, a minister, could do about it. You have to live with it like that. You come just like Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. When I work, I want my pay. Rowley's telling the public that I want my pay. You are telling the people of Tobago, you have to live with that. Really? How can you be a minister and telling Tobagonians that? Are you safe when you go to Tobago, Ms. Shamfa? Are you safe? Because Tobago is known for a tourist attraction country. It is an extension of Trinidad. And you are telling them you have to live with that. You are telling them, I cannot do nothing about that. You are telling them the government cannot help you all. You have to live with it. You have to accept the worst. Let me tell you all something. Let me tell you all something. Remember when Colin Imbert raised the gas price? I did it once and they did not. I did it twice and they didn't fight back. Now I'm going to do it 3 times. So what if the Tobagonians say to you, Ms. Shamfa, we are not accepting what you are telling us, and decide to protest, and decides to march for a better Tobago, and better security, and better food supply, and better jobs, and stability in Tobago, what are you going to do, Ms. Shamfa? What are you going to do? You tell me. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Right. I have a little problem. I know it's not the topic that you have right now. Today we went to the teaching hospital, and my father-in-law, he's 80 years, and he cannot walk, so we have a wheelchair. So on approaching the security guard, they said they don't have any parking. Now, my wife was driving, and there was a wheelchair, was the car park to park for to come off for the wheelchair and stuff like that, the handicap spot. And when my wife asked the security guard, so it have one vacant, you know, if she could use that, the security guard say no, that reserved. Since when the handicap space in a public car park is reserved. I think you should look into it and see is a mess. The security and the parking in the teaching hospital is in a mess. You have to pay them to park, and they're allowing nobody to park. My father-in-law is 80 years old, and we had to leave and come back because today he had to do an ultrasound. His heart is working 40%, and it's very difficult to get a park in the children's hospital.
A guy sent me a video today concerning parking at the San Fernando General Hospital. They used to park, going up the hill to San Fernando General Hospital, they used to park on the both sides. Now, no vehicles cannot park on the both sides, and they are actually using the roadway to park. And it is causing chaos with traffic to go into the hospital. Now, if you are staying in Tobago, police were called to the Bishop High School in Tobago as students in uniform from Signal Hill Secondary were awaiting outside the school compound to allegedly beat a number of students. So far, no arrests have been made. Now, this is sad, you know. This is really, really sad. Caller, good night. Caller, you there?
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, I hear you saying, Cujo saying leave Tobago like that.
They have
but
to
I don't
accept,
think Cujo the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice, and the other woman who represents Tobago, like Tobago, all for them living in Trinidad. She don't go back to Tobago to find out somebody tells she something and that's what she has something to say and she just say it. She is to go to Tobago, all them people for years since A&R Robinson, Pamela Nicholson and Toppin. They all is to come to the meeting in Trinidad and take a plane and go home back, but she's staying in Trinidad. True. The Prime Minister get that $4 million apartment for she Indigo Martin. And since she get that, he don't go to Tobago again often. I don't say nothing. I just throwing out something. He don't go back to Tobago often unless he have something to do as a Prime Minister because she in Trinidad. So when this woman said anything about Tobago, she had to say something to please the people. And the next thing is why we have to provide Tobago with food. We're giving them $2.9 billion. We have to give them food too. I mean, come on, man. With $2.9 billion, and since 2008 to present time, $28.2 billion they not account for. Why we have to buy boat for them?
True. I understand what you're saying.
Why we have to buy boat for them? We giving them enough money to run the country for 58,000 people. We used to get all kind of things from Tobago, sheep, donkey, cow, everything from Tobago, peas, cassava, everything. Now the people just sitting down and eating. They take in their car, put it on the boat, come in Trinidad free, full it with trunk, put it back on the boat free and go on back. If they're getting that, why they're working for? Ask who do that. And she go tell you that the kind of money them people getting. If you run too fast from Scarborough, you reach a Charlotte.
Thank you, caller. And you know, caller, where I said about the boat with your cars. Listen this. You could buy a ticket for a vehicle. You're boarding the boat. And you're coming off in Tobago. And you know it is very easy to transport drugs from Trinidad to Tobago. It is very, very easy. Many times I travel from Trinidad to Tobago using the boat with my vehicle. And I was like, wow. It is easy to transport guns, marijuana, cocaine from Trinidad to Tobago via boat. I am telling you, it is very, very simple. Very, very simple. Caller, good night. Hello?
Hello, good night, Mr. Saeed.
Hello? I guess
Hello.
we lost that. Now, viewers, switching from all this, listen this. The TTPS is saying it is hard to clamp down on PH drivers in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, I will tell you something. Each car comes out to work from 5 in the morning, some from 4, until 6 in the afternoon. Those who work shift, those who work wee hours into the night, cannot get an H vehicle, an H taxi to drop them home. Now listen to me carefully. I am not saying it is right. But I want you all to listen something. Maxis does stop working very early. H taxis does stop working very, very early. And these PH drivers, they come out to work from 6 in the evening to probably 6 the next morning. People who travel in PH cars, store clerks, teachers, police officers, nurses, doctors, lawyers, they travel in PH cars at night. And for the TTPS to say it is hard to clamp down, yes, it is hard. Because after the H cars stop working between 5 to 6, individual needs transport to go home. I am not saying it's the correct thing, but it will be hard to stop. It will be hard. Because 6 o'clock in some areas, you can't get an H car to go home. Or neither go to work. And this is a fact in Trinidad. Now the PH drivers, some might have criminal records that they cannot get a certificate of character to go get your taxi badge. Now, not all might be criminals. Some might be innocent, but they have a matter. You understand? And that is preventing them from getting an H taxi badge. So sometimes you just have to look at it at both ways. I understand the police have their job to do. But sometimes they themselves, after they finish work their shift, they just hire PH to drop them home. I know that for a fact. Kola, good night.
Good night, Mr. Saeed. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Can you please touch on the social welfare from between May and June from last year, please?
You did not get your check?
Thank you. Have a blessed night. Good night.
Thank you. It is hard to actually stop PH from working. I know exactly what I am telling you. Because of the fact that when 6 o'clock reach, you cannot find an H car on the stand. You can't. You can't. So that is why they are saying it is very hard. It is very hard. Now, viewers, what I want to touch on, it's about parents and kids. For the next 6 minutes, I will be talking about this. The parent of the 16-year-old boy who was shot and killed by police in Couva in the jewel shop. His mom said she tried to save him. She tried to talk to him to come out of the criminal life. She tried to help him. Now there are many parents who would talk to their children. And often we hear when an individual gets shot, the parents would say he's a good boy. But sometimes the individual themselves do not want to change. You see, I will tell you something. When you get into a life of crime, and you realize you rob this one, you stick them up with a gun. You get a couple hundred, you get gold chain, you get ring, you get phone. You might rob another one, you might get a couple thousand. Now when you see that money start to come in, it becomes easy for you. Your mental status changes. It changes to know, well, hey, I robbed this individual and I got so much. It changes. So you know, being that individual, you're not going in a grocery and push trolley. No. You're not going to look for a construction work to make cement. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that because of the fact that your mental status already changed. It's easier to pick up a gun and rob someone and gain a large amount of money together with gold and cell phone. It is easier to do that. Now, according to the mom, she tried talking to the individual. She tried her uttermost best. And I know many parents who actually talk to their kids do not get involved in criminal activity. Because one day you will be caught. One day you will be shot dead. You see, it is hard for a drug dealer to come out of dealing drugs. You know why? Because of the amount of money. That is why. It is because of the amount of money. No one wants to come out and mix concrete. No one wants to come out and push trolleys. No one wants to come out and bust stone because it is easier to rob. It is very easy. Now, viewers, switching from that, after 1 year of the killing of Mr. Sharon Sukhdev, special investigating units have been assigned to investigate the killing of Sharon Sukhdev. On March 26th, made it 1 year. So after, you see how Trinidad backward? You see how we way back in time? After 1 year, you now decide to set up a special unit. A special unit to investigate the killing of Sharon. The government wants to bring first class laws to Trinidad. But we wait 1 year for an individual to die, get shot, and then launch an investigation. Are we Trinidadian actually dummies or are we dolls? Are we dummies? Or are we a teddy bear that's leaning up on our wall? Those officers that you are planning, Mr. Minister, to put to investigate this individual, you could have set them up elsewhere. $18 individuals have been charged with fraud concerning the flood grant. After 1 year, you want to start an investigation. The man done dead and gone. Eh? Life goes on 1 year after. It's sad, you know. Trinidad, we're really backward, you know. Really, really backward. Viewers, we're out of time for tonight. But do join me tomorrow for our next live show of Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Remember, you can look us up on Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Like our page and share it. You can subscribe to us at TT Real Talk. Subscribe and encourage your friends and families. And remember, there's a repeat of this program tomorrow morning from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Viewers, I am looking for a researcher. I am expanding Real Talk. Those of you that are interested, please contact me 339-1670 and work with your resume. Thank you, viewers. Be safe and good night.
Get your ad on the show that matters. Real Talk with Saieed Ali. It's engaging, entertaining, and straight to the point. Real Talk brings the issues of the day to the people. It's Real Talk with Saieed Ali. It's local, regional, and international. It's Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Get your ad now. Call
1-868-237-3135 or 1-868-339-1670.